Yeah, this did you do? Okay. Thanks. Hello, guys. uh, okay, one sec. I'm just trying to think. How did we start Frank's episode? Yeah. So it'll go from this to the music, which is dun dun. Okay. Um, hello. Before we start the episode, Frank McKevitt, which is a really good episode. It's a long episode, but it actually was a really good, unique conversation and an opportunity to, hear a story that, hear a story that was recorded that may never have been heard. And on that, our goal is to do exactly that with the podcast, and especially people in Thurles, we're trying to capture like all these stories and maybe like archive like stories that may never be heard or even ever be told. So we are having loads of audio problems with this current setup, so we're trying to change that to record these stories in the best quality possible. So we've set up a fundraiser, and it's an all or nothing model on Kickstarter, meaning that we have to raise it or we don't get any of it. And we're trying to raise it as soon as possible. There's a deadline on it. I think it's probably there might be about 20 days left on it now when this goes out. So if you want to fundraise or if you want to help us and you can donate any price at all, please do. Whether it's €1, 10 or whatever amount, it's all appreciated. It really is. And even if you can just share the link, that'd be sound. The link is up here above me, or if you want to type that in, if that's easier, or you can click the link in the description below. And anyone that donates, we're going to put a space on the wall. We have a wall dedicated in the studio to put your name on the wall. Not that it means much written, but I don't know. We just want to try and give back somehow, and we will give back. We will give back with really high quality audio too. Over to the episode. Over to the dun 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 dun.
Well, anyway, I'll be 90 in 2 years'
You're
time.
joking.
What?
Yeah.
You're joking. And hey, do you know what? You're after getting better.
Of course I am. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'm hurling now.
Brilliant.
I'll be 90 in 2 years' time.
Wow. That's class. Yeah.
Wow.
That's brilliant.
So what do you think?
Unbelievable.
I'm physically fit.
Brilliant.
I could knock one of
But you've come on in, even on the last couple of months, you're...
Oh, yeah. If one of you want to come out there and take me on,
Yeah.
I'd have you on the ground in 2 seconds.
Get here and in a headlock.
Okay, so
No. I have a way of doing it.
okay, right.
I stand up. I had to do it on one or two occasions.
Okay.
All you do is stand.
Yeah.
You look him in the eye.
Yeah.
He's looking back at you. Yeah. Hit him in the
Follow him back.
That's mad.
That's class. Fair play to you. Do you know what you're after
Get
getting?
this.
You're after
We're
getting,
going now. Okay, so
Yeah, you're after getting stronger in the
Record this,
last
lads.
couple of months.
Oh, I'm getting better every
Every
day.
day,
Getting
yeah,
better, every
absolutely.
day.
I know. I noticed it.
Do you have some sort of routine? Do you have like a regimen or like a workout thing that you do, Frank?
I get up at 8:30. I usually have a shower.
Lovely.
I'm very religious.
Good.
I have to tell you. I'm proud of it. I say my prayers every morning. I have 5 prayers that I say.
Yeah.
I have to say them.
Yeah.
I won't get up. Go down, have a shower, wash myself. Go down, have my porridge, tea and toast. Watch Mass at 10:30 on 5 to 1. I get up straight away at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I go to the rag, and I spend a quarter of an hour there.
Lovely.
I light a few candles.
Lovely.
I come to the graveyard.
Yeah.
I put up outside on the road,
Lovely.
and my wife.
Yeah. Say hello to her.
Well, no, she's with me. She knows.
She goes, yeah, with you.
No, she was in there, but she knows she's not in there now.
Yeah, I know what you
I'm
mean.
going to wash the flowers for her.
Lovely,
you know.
lovely.
I'm going to the shop.
Okay, it's grand.
I spend a
Thanks.
couple hours in the shop,
Brilliant. Yeah.
and I do the horses.
That's
I won
cool.
170 quid yesterday,
Lovely.
and I'm at the fucking blow on about 4 grand now today.
I know, you were telling me about that.
On the horses.
The Heinz.
Yeah. I do a bet today, and I cancelled 2 horses I've written down.
No way.
One of them won at 10 to 1, the other at 9 to 2. I reckon it's going to cost me at least 5 grand.
Really?
Fucking just before I come in now, just 5 minutes ago.
God.
I'm not a bit of that yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
it'd be
But
grand.
I have a horse going tomorrow.
Have you?
Well,
Yeah,
Orla.
Oh, yeah, Orla's one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's called Wasdale Park. I had a lot of horse to meet him. I called them all Johnsons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at the fucking thing I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Would you be able to bring in your chair again?
pull
Just
it, yeah.
pull in your chair.
Pull in
so
when you get going.
we
So
can't hear you in the
we-
microphone.
My last stroke here now.
No worries.
You know, work away, yeah.
You can smoke away on
Yeah,
it,
you
like, you know.
I won't smoke no
Do,
more,
yeah.
so-
I love the smell of it. It's lovely. Yeah, we'll clap her in and drive
Yeah,
her
it's all
on.
clapped already.
Is it?
Mhm.
So do we have to...
Do an intro. Yeah.
No, I'm now having some because
Exactly. Welcome back to Everything from Nothing, Ireland's most exciting...
Smoky
podcast.
Smoky
Exciting.
podcast.
This week we're joined by Thurles' most famous shopkeeper, Frank McKevitt, and
Yeah.
character. Yeah, a most interesting guy.
Johnson's
Johnson's cost cutters in Liberty Square, isn't that it?
That's me.
But you're from Roscommon originally.
I'm from County Roscommon, a place called Kiltoom, better known for St. Bridget's, who won the Club All Ireland 2 or 3 years ago.
Wow, you were a right good footballer.
Yeah, I was there. I won 4 county championships
Yeah,
with St. Bridget's.
yeah.
I won a minor All Ireland in 1951 with
Wow.
Roscommon.
That's
I played in 52, were beaten by a point.
Wow.
I played for the county. The years I got to ever win in All Ireland, I played against Galway in 1956.
Wow.
They gave us a bit of a hammering, all right, but had a good team at the time, Sean Person and Frankie Stockwell and all those well-known guys.
That's class.
But at least I was there on the day, and I got a bit of a plastering from a fella called the Puck
Yeah.
Dillon. He kicked me around the place.
Yeah.
I never forgot it.
Oh my God.
I played junior for a few years. I played minor for 2 years, 50 and 51 and 52. I played minor for 3 years, won 1 All Ireland. I'm very proud of my family. We have 15 All Irelands in the house.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah.
15.
15, yeah.
Whoa.
I have 1 daughter. She has 6 All Irelands, 2 camogie, 2 soccer, and 2 Gaelic
Whoa.
football.
Wow.
That's mental. That's
And
cool.
she's my idol.
That's cool.
I have 1, and the rest of them between them, they have 13 All Irelands.
That's amazing.
If you want to hear them,
They're all brilliant sports people, all the grandkids
yeah,
and
the
everything. Yeah.
Sports seems to be their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got that off you, I'd say. From you walloping the shoe off of the dressing room. Oh?
No, I was, to be honest, I was known as the hatchet man.
Oh yeah, good
I
man.
was called in emergencies and looked after fellas that didn't behave themselves.
That's,
But I had 1 record.
Yeah.
I was never taken off, or I was never sent off.
Good man.
But I had 3 guys that played on me that were sent off
My God.
for trying to do me.
Oh wow.
No, I enjoyed 3 things I enjoyed in life.
Yeah.
I enjoyed football very much. I'm a very religious man. My faith is very strong.
Yeah.
I think the GA and your religion
Yeah.
and your work,
Brilliant. Yeah.
if you have those 3, you have the
That's
rest.
it. Yeah.
Uh,
And how did you come from Roscommon to Thurles? Like, how did that all start?
by train or
My
car.
mother was a school teacher. My father was a guard. My father was very quiet, religious man. I think I inherited that from him.
Yeah.
My mother was a school teacher, most wonderful woman. She reared 5 of us. We all done reasonably okay. I was the weak link.
The weak link. Why do you say that,
Oh.
Frank?
You were just before
they
we.
were all, my sisters were all teachers, and
You were to be a guard as well or something, were you?
yeah, but I was a half an inch short, and they told me to go home and do some exercises. And
Go
they
home
might
and
take
grow a
me
little
in.
bit.
My father was a guard, so I might make the 5'10". You had to be 5'10" at the time, and I was 5'9.5".
Checkers.
So I was to do the exercises. So in the meantime, I done my leaving cert in 1949. Now I was born in 1934, which means that I'm now
What age? Yeah. So
I'm
that's
2 years off being 90.
that's
Good
mad.
man.
Because
I
just
done my leaving cert, and I think when the postman came, I knew what the results were going to be like. And this is true. I never opened the envelope. I tore it up. I wouldn't let my mother see it. Because my mother was very much into education. I never done 1 minute's homework in my life.
No.
Never once.
Fair play. You'd have a man after your own heart there, Kieran.
No, I did a similar story.
I was brought down to the presentation school maybe about 7 or 8 years ago, and I was asked to say a few words about what you should do for a career, etc., etc. And I got a bit lost for words because I wasn't very well versed in that area. So I stood up and I told them, now kids, I said, my story is going to be very short. I never took out a bit of homework in my life. You please yourselves, whatever you want to do, but I never done 1 minute's homework.
That's
my
so
mother
funny.
tried everything. She got me grinds, and I used to go out the hall. I go out the window. when the man would come. No later than this week.
Very good.
There was a young guy in. He was very stressed. He was doing his leaving cert this week, and I said to him, "You don't look happy." No, I don't think I got on too good. I tell you something. Look at, I didn't get my leaving cert. I think I failed it. I never opened it to find out. I know I got honours maths, but after that, I got nothing. Nothing.
No.
I passed nothing. That was
That's mad.
my youth, if you like. I grown up in a country parish. They're all very nice people, very poor. The west of Ireland with nothing. We were better off than most. At least my mother had a job and my father had a job, and we were regarded as well off with nothing. Our house was built on my uncle's farm. Nice 2-story house. It was built for 300 quid in 1931.
Was that a lot of money then?
Maybe.
Yeah.
The house was built on my uncle's farm, and he had quite a sizable farm for the rest of Ireland. He had about 45 acres. Couldn't be a paddock around Tipperary. But he survived and done well, and I was brought up with him. I lived 100 yards over the road from him. I ploughed with 2 horses. I never seen a tractor. There was no tractor in the west of Ireland when I was a young fella.
Oh my God.
So you were ploughing
30s.
with the horses, like?
I ploughed with 2 horses, yeah.
That's something going.
Addicted to horses. I loved horses.
Yeah.
We had one called Moll, and she died having a foal. I cried for a week.
Oh God.
I worked on the land. I'd done everything that was possible. I worked night and day for nothing. All I get was a buzz of a cigarette. He used smoke, and he was a miserable man. Wouldn't give you nothing. But I loved him, and he was a personality. He was a good footballer as well. He played football for Scotland in his early days. He idolised me. I think he did, but I done everything for him. I could go on, but
I know.
my first signs that I might show something was when I was 11. I got 2 bonnets and I reared them until they were 23 stone. One was 23 and the other was 24.
2 what did you say? Sorry, 2
Pigs.
Oh, pigs. Okay, right.
So we had them in a shed at the back of the house, reared them when they were 23 stone, which was huge at the time. We decided to sell them. I like telling this story. So my brother and I decided we'd take them to the market in Athlone, which was 6 miles. We loaded them up in the donkey and cart, a little black ass called Georgie. I idolised him too. How we got them up in the cart, I've never figured out. But the one thing, I have an idea that there was a heap of manure, and we drove them up in the heap of manure and pushed them into it, but it must have been that way. Anyway, on our way into Athlone, this could get boring, the story, before it's finished.
We love it.
By the time we lived 6 miles out from Athlone, we were about 2 miles from Athlone, and the jobbers would come out the road to meet you and they'd try and get a bargain off you. So they stopped me and they asked me how much I want for the pigs. And I said £13 for the 2. Oh, he laughed at me and went away. Not at all. He says, you're ridiculous. So I proceeded into Athlone, another 1.5 miles. It was 6 o'clock in the morning now, and it was in the summertime. So I arrived into Athlone, and if there was 1 pig in Athlone, in the square in Athlone, there was 1,000 pigs. Or that might be an exaggeration. There was a couple of 100 pigs. Nobody wanted a pig. So we sat there, ready to cry. The tears were coming. What are we going to do with the pigs? Nobody sold a pig. So I decided I'd go and get the ass back we had taken him from under the cart, put him behind the pub in a little stable. I was walking back to get the donkey, and I looked into this pub, and there was this crowd of all fellas in drinking, all pissed out of their mind, drunk. And I spotted your man that was trying to buy the pigs off me in the morning. I even knew his name. His name was Paddy Claffey. He's from Moat. I knew him from the fairs. I used to go to the fairs with my uncle, and he was a jobber, a big old pig of a fella. So I said to Mr. Claffey, when are you going to take them pigs? I went into the pub to him, and he said, "What pigs, Sonny?" Called me Sonny. I said, "You bought 2 pigs off me this morning there about 6 o'clock in Gallis Hill." That was the name of the area. He said, "I don't remember buying any pigs." And he said, "How much did I give you for them? How much was I supposed to give? £13. No, I wasn't buying any. I wasn't giving you £13 for any 2 pigs. So there was 3 or 4 farmers standing beside him. I had to say, "Pay the gassoon," and let them home. Gassoon was a great expression in the west of Ireland. You know,
what was the expression?
Yeah. Pay the gassoon. It's Irish for boy.
Gassoon.
Gassoon. So I looked at your man, and he looked at me, and the next thing I see him putting his hand down in his pocket. He had a big trousers on him and a big pocket, and he was an obnoxious sort of a character. He pulls out the money and gives me 2 fivers, I always remember, and 3 £1 notes.
Lovely.
Oh, Jesus, I was singing going out. Huh?
Wow,
Brilliant.
that's really
Now, I had to be on the ball. I knew he'd come to see.
Yeah.
He used to he'd have his scissors, and he cut his initials on the pig. He cut the hair of the pig, PC, Paddy Claffey.
That's mad.
So I skipped as far as I could back down to where the pigs were, and I borrowed the scissors off a fella next beside me. I said, "Give me that scissors quick," and I put PC on your man's and my pigs. Your man arrived down 2 minutes after and looked at the pigs. The PC was there.
Lovely.
And leave them out down the yard. Anyway, I went home without 2 pigs.
Brilliant. Fair
So
play.
I arrived back in Kiltoom, and my uncle was there, and he said, "How did you get on?" And I said, "We sold the pigs." He says, "How in the name of God did you?" Everybody here is passing home. They all have their pigs in the cart.
Brilliant.
Nobody sold a pig.
Brilliant.
So he was standing on the middle of the floor. He was about 30 at this time. I'm 11. He said to me,
You were 11 at this time with
I
the
was
pigs.
11 years of age.
Okay,
I know,
right.
the reason for knowing I was 11,
Okay.
because I'd done something very unusual around the same time.
What did you do?
I'll tell you that in a
sorry.
second.
Yeah.
I'm wound up now and I can't stop.
Keep going.
No, go on. This is lovely. This is good.
I'm supposed to talk about Johnson. And
No, this is perfect. This is
what
what we
talking
do
about
here.
myself.
No,
Anyway,
we
he
did-
stood up in the middle of the floor and he looked at me and he said, I was always called Frankie growing up because my dad was Frank and I was Frankie. He said, "Frankie, you're going to go a long way." And he sat down in the armchair and started laughing.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So I always think that story was very good.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Another thing that reminds me, when I was 11 years of age, my uncle's wife, she was expecting a baby. And she came running over to my mother in a horrible state. She was about to have this baby. And there was no man around, or there was no nothing. But we had an old car there, an old prefect, about 10, 20 years old, but it was in the garage all during the war.
A Ford Prefect.
Huh?
A Ford
Ford
Prefect. Yeah,
Prefect,
my
yeah.
granddad had one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the old car was there, and I think there was enough of petrol to bring it to town. My mammy said to me, would you ever chance driving her into it alone? So 6 miles in, I used to drive there was an old scut truck on the farm, and I used to be messing with it all. I was getting up and Anyway, she said, there wasn't many cars on the road that time. I said I'd chance it. So to 6 miles out. So I was over into the nursing home in Athlone. As a matter of fact, the nurse was Mary O'Rourke, the ex-TD minister. It was her mother-in-law was the midwife.
Wow.
So I handed her in. I think she was there about 15 minutes when she had the baby. The baby is now in Limerick. She's also my godchild. That's good for her. She's now, that's how I know how it is it was. I'm 87 and she's 76. So I had to be 11.
Yeah, that's
So
brilliant. That's
That
class.
was my first baby I delivered.
Wow.
Whoa.
Her name is Nuala Kilroy. I don't deny anything about it,
Yeah.
I have the names of everything. You want to quiz me, I'll answer it.
That's amazing.
I have a phenomenal memory. I remember falling off a load of hay in a field with my grandmother, and I could only be 3 because she died in 1938 and I was born in 1934. So the most I had been was 4. And I remember falling off the load of hay and she died 6 months later.
Oh.
And I remember being up in the bedroom when she died,
Yeah.
and my job was to keep the flies off her. I had a fan or a bit of a newspaper, and I was knocking the flies off her.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So
That's
that was
amazing.
my youth was unbelievable.
Brilliant, though.
Unbelievable. I had the best childhood any man ever had, and I had to hate me.
That's so cool.
No, but I did work like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I could go on and on. Like the pigs are a minor detail. We used to cut turf in the bog, my brother and I.
Yeah.
And he had to cut it because he was
What's your brother's name again?
Paddy.
Paddy, yeah.
He was right-handed,
Yeah.
and I was left-handed. I was left-footed,
Yeah.
so I couldn't cut the turf
Okay.
because on the sleigh
it's
there's
the
a
other-
wing on the
I
sleigh,
know, yeah.
and you couldn't
Yeah,
throw it against the
wrong
wing.
side, yeah.
So I used to catch the turf, and he used to cut it, and we'd. I'm going on a bit. Anyway,
No,
I'll
you're
go on
not.
a
No,
little
you're-
bit.
It's perfect.
Go on.
We cut the turf, we saved it. We had to cycle about 5 miles while we were cutting it. We had the donkey and cart, then we got older for saving it and looking after it.
So,
We piled it up on the side of the road and went into a lawn one day when I had all this turf ready to be sold. Met this chemist fella, a fella called Harry Naylor. He was a chemist in Church Street in Athlone. I asked him, does he want some turf? And he says, yes, sonny, bring it in. The deal was 15 shillings a load.
yeah.
And we had took the loan of a pony from my uncle, gave me the pony. We used to bring 3 loads a day into Athlone, and we get 15 shillings a load.
Class.
And there was a funny story went there with that. As you were driving in, the turf would subside with the shaking and to be small.
Yeah.
So I arrived in and he came out and he didn't like the amount of turf he had in the cart.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm cutting you 5 shillings.
Yeah.
So I went berserk. I went from 15 shillings to 10.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said, okay, but I get you. So I went home that evening and I derived a plan. I said, I'll fix you.
Oh, yeah.
And I got 2 big bags, canvas bags,
Yeah.
and I stuffed them with hay and straw or something. I put them in the bottom of the cart.
Yeah, yeah.
And I left them there for the following morning when we'd be loading the turf.
Brilliant.
So I'd throw it in on top
Yeah, yeah.
of
Perfect.
the hay.
Yeah.
So when we arrived there, I brought him out. I said, now, Mr. Naylor, would you ever have a look? I'm after bringing you in extra turf.
Yeah, yeah.
I had it piled up another foot high.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, now, you have to give me the 5 shillings you cut me yesterday.
Yeah.
And I got the 5 shillings.
Brilliant.
So he didn't.
You didn't cut you. Brilliant.
Nobody beat me in those stories.
That's very good.
Brilliant.
That's very good.
That's so cool.
No, Kiltoom was a wonderful place.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Come here, how did you...
I'm smoking since I was 7.
Fair play to you.
7.
You're looking well on it.
That's mad. And was it always the pipe? You're smoking the pipe there? Is
No,
that
I smoke
just-
cigarettes.
Okay, yeah.
And one of my famous tricks were, I think I had one match left one day in school. It still sticks out. And there was 3 of us smoking.
Yeah.
One of them was a great pal of mine. John O'Brien was his name. He's in Ohio now. He was on the minor team as well.
Okay, yeah.
And we had one match and plenty of cigarettes. We had 3 cigarettes. Well, there were Woodbines at the time. There were 4 in a package.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another little story about that. And then
What age were you?
Uh,
What age were you at that time?
7.
7.
Did
Yeah.
loads of people smoke
Huh?
at 7? Did a lot of people smoke at 7?
I'd say they did.
Did,
Well, boys
yeah.
mostly. Girls didn't
Yeah.
smoke then.
Yeah.
But I remember this particular day, we had one match. And we were going to figure out how we were going to use the one match because
The whole day.
we go out for a suss. You know,
Yeah.
you put up your hand and say, suss, you want to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
We go down and we light the
smoke.
match and light the cigarette and have a few pulls.
Yeah.
And
7.
I derived a solution to the one match. I took the lace out of my shoe and I lit the lace and the lace smouldered and I hung it up in the toilet. And the other boys come out
No way.
to light the cigarette off the match.
Yeah.
There are all those little things, you know.
That's
So
cool.
cool.
I like that stuff.
That is brilliant.
We had fierce competition in the schoolyard for football. It's unbelievable. We used to kill one another, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
So-
And we had played with a tennis ball. We didn't have a football.
All right.
We got a football originally, all right. When you kill the pig,
Yeah.
the pigs had a blather. Every farmer killed a pig that time. And you
Yeah.
get the blather and you dry it up. You put it on the crane. You
Okay.
didn't have any
The fire. is it?
agas or any of that
Yeah,
on the crane.
Yeah.
You put the bladder on the ground, dry it out, and then you
No
blow it up.
way.
And
And what way? I've never personally kicked a pig's bladder myself, but in way like soccer balls are now, would they fly far? Like, were they like nearly balloon like, or were they like soccer?
When you
ball,
put
like?
that into a leather, cover, but you have to cover for years and years. We used to join up for a cover. The cover might cost you £1, you know.
That's how it works.
In those days. So you put them. It couldn't last very long, you know.
Yeah.
But at least you know football. We mostly played. That's why we were so accurate. We played with a tennis ball in schoolyards, you know. You had to be dead on with a tennis ball, or you were gone.
Yeah, we actually still use tennis ball up in Scolalva. I think they still do like use a tennis ball, and that was the thing. Because the soccer balls were breaking windows or whatever, so they still use a tennis ball, and some great soccer players come out of there because you have to be accurate with tennis ball.
It makes. I had a brother. He was unbelievable. He played corner forward for 13 years, and I reckon he never kicked a wide.
No
he either got a score or he got a free. He'd hold on until somebody would foul him, or else he scored. He scored more goals. It was unbelievable.
That's
He's only 5'7".
That's Paddy, is it? Yeah.
But they accused me of feeding him. I played midfield for 13 years. Well, for about 10 years. I know I had one of the best, contented, although we were poor, if you like, you know.
Yeah.
What made you move to Thurles?
Pardon?
What made you move to Thurles?
I'll come to that, I suppose. I was known for working at home, and first cousins of my mother had a farm quite near us, and there was 4 brothers in it, and they started the fruit business in about 1940, just after the war, 44, 45.
What were they called?
Heavies.
Oh, yeah.
Heavy brothers. They were big. They
were famous,
They ended up being quite big in the fruit business. Hard workers. One of them asked me, would I do his run? He used to do a run from Dublin from Naas to Thurles. He asked me would I do it for a fortnight. He'd get married, and I was hoping to be called for the guards, and I was working in a draper shop at the time. I was good at that too. One of my famous ones was I was about 3 months in this draper shop in Roscommon, O'Connor and Company, and the manager there was tough, but he liked me, and one day we had a very funny incident. Well, I regarded it as funny, and he regarded it as twice as funny. This fella came in. I knew him. He had a mill, you know, the crush oats and things like that. And he'd have a few bob, but most fellas had nothing. So my pal, who was he had a few years senior than me, he was attending this fella. He wanted to come in to buy an oil skin, or an oil skin plastic thing to keep the water out. 7 and 6 it was. So he was selling him this oil skin, and he was about to put it in a bag. And I said, could I have a go at that guy? He says, that guy does have to buy that. He says, he's fit for a lot more. I said, I bet I'll sell him something worth bothering about. He says, go ahead and call. He called away your man. His name was Joey Fleming. He called Joey away. Joey, come here. He says, I said, go down now and see how good you are. So I'm down to your man, and I said to him, you're not going home with that thing here, an old green oil skin. And he said, why? He said, we got in lovely cranberry overcoats yesterday. I said, you should see them. We had them they were there for about 2 years. They couldn't sell them because they were too dear. And I had to put them way upstairs. So I went up and I brought down one of them, and I put them on. So your man puts them on the coat, and he walks down the shop. And there's 2 girls there in the haberdashery department. I said to them, tell him how good he's looking when he comes back. You know? So they were well fit for the job. Jeez, Johnny was his name. Johnny, he looks smashing in that. You should buy that. Now, Johnny, come along, and he spent 20 quid, which was horrendous at the time. It's equivalent to about 500 now. He walks off in the cranberry overcoat.
Wow.
Now, to make things better, I made him wear it when he puts it on. I said, I don't take it off. We're going home. And the manager said to me, why did you ask him to wear the coat going home? I said to him, it's fucking spilling rain out there. And he says, he can't bring it back, it's all wet. If he brings it home, the wife will see it, he should send them back with it.
That's right, good.
So I have a million of those stories.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did you get commission on those things? Did you get commission on those things that you sold?
I worked there, I was supposed to be there to serve my time. But I spent a year there. I was getting nothing. I worked for nothing. Nothing. I had my free keep. There was about 20 or 30 work to the big shop. There could have been 30 working hours. O'Connor and Company, they were big drapers in the but no wages. You just work for your keep.
Was that common?
Huh?
Was that common? Was that normal?
It was common serving your time. Then you got nothing.
Wow.
If you were living in there, if you were 15 miles from home. But my mother used to send me a 10 shilling note every week. 10 shillings. That was it. But the manager was very good to me. Now and again, if I was sitting in at night and I had no money, he'd give you a £0.50. Maybe let you go off to the Maypole or go somewhere. He was generous. I done him a good turn one time. He talked about it for years after. We were playing in a county semi-final and 3 of us arrived late. We thought the match was 3:30 and about forward to 3 o'clock. And we were down about 10 points when 5 of us arrived. And we ended up drawing the match. And I excelled that day. I went berserk. But in the replay, he said, my manager said, I met him on the way. I was talking about going down. He said, will you beat them? Now, they got 2 additional players on. I said, we'll beat them a pint a man. And he said, there's £50 up in the pub. Kilmartin's the name of the pub. There's £50 left in to be covered by the opposition. And I said, you covered the lot. I said, we beat them. And I said, not alone will we beat them. We beat them a pint a man. We beat them by 10 points.
Yeah.
And he drew the 50 quid and he gave me half it.
No way.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Jimmy Jones is his name. He's dead for 30 years. But he was a fan of mine all his life.
Wow. After getting the money.
I kept friendly with him all my life.
And through all your scheming and you know those stories like that, have you ever had any run-ins with the law through your time back in those days?
I never had a court case.
Okay.
I fired more people, maybe 500 people. 50 people. I've never taken anybody to court. I've never been in court for anything.
Okay, right.
I never did anybody an injustice.
Yeah.
I don't think I did. If I did, I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, you'd be shocked. I've never told a lie.
Okay.
I cannot tell a lie.
That's really cool.
If somebody asks me something that I don't want to answer, I'll say, I don't like being asked that question. That's my answer.
Brilliant.
Or else I give a roundabout. But I would say, my answer is, I don't like being asked that question.
You never thought about being a politician?
Pardon?
You never thought about being a politician with those answers? That would serve
No,
you well.
I didn't have that sort of charisma. I know it wasn't on the.
Come here.
I reckon I was earning more than the politicians anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who wants to lower themselves? Huh?
Yeah.
Hey, what was it like? What was it like covering the holiday pay for the cousins? He was on holidays or getting married, was he, or what was it?
Yeah, he came to me, and he was the first cousin of my mother's, and my mother was very friendly with him. He was one of a big family, 9 himself. They'd done very well, but he asked me to come for a fortnight, and I said I would. No, I didn't know anything about fruit. There wasn't even fruit like after the war. There was no bananas or nothing. There were no mushrooms or there was just. I still know the list though of what I used to sell. If you want to hear it quickly, I'll tell you. My list on the fruit and veg was tomatoes, oranges, onions, bananas, apples, pears, grapes, plums, lemons, grapefruit, coconut apples. I could go on for half an hour.
Yeah.
I never forgot anything I went into my head.
Wow.
Stay there.
That's and you do in cost cutters. Are you the guy behind the voice? That's you.
Hello, customers. You're all welcome to McKevitt's Cost Cutters. Where in the world should you be? Only McKevitt's Cost Cutters. Leg of lamb. Only $19.99. It's $2.49. $24.99 down the road. You can believe me. Anyway, get away from that.
Good.
I love it.
That's good.
That's brilliant.
That's famous. In everyone. That's cool.
Went for a fortnight. He came to the market one morning with me, and he showed me where you buy your tomatoes, oranges, onions, and I was good at the wheeling and dealing because I went and saw cattle when I was 11 years of age, 10 years, I'd say 8 years of age. on the way to Athlone, we had to bring ropes with us. We drive the cattle along the road, and there was bog holes each side of the road as you go in around Hudson Bay, and the cattle maybe fall into a bog hole, and you'd have to pull them out with a rope.
Whoa.
So I was always at the cattle.
Yeah.
I was renowned for another thing, sheep. My uncle kept a lot of sheep, and very few people could know one sheep from the other. I would know about at least 50% of them. I'd know which sheep was from which lamb, even when they be weaned off.
Really?
You know?
Without naming them, right?
Yeah. No, we had names on the cows, not on the sheep. There were too many sheep.
But you'd still
We'd
know.
have names on all the cows, all right.
That's mad. And you'd still
But
know.
I got back to the
Truck.
going to the truck.
Smithfield.
He asked me would I go for a fortnight. He was going off. He went to Rome to get married. 4 of them, 3 of them got married in Rome, to all on the papers. Bullshit, you know. Big deal. Anyway, he only came once and showed me. There was a helper with me. The helper had a little idea. A little fella called Georgie Rock. He had an Elvis Presley haircut. I can still see him. Yeah, smart little fella. But he done all the... Oh, yeah, I'll come to that in a second. I went to the market the first day, and he came round with me and showed me where you go. And I might have taken a note of what you know. So I loaded up and went down, started off in Naas, Portlaoise, Mount Rath, Castletown, Rossgrey, Templemore, and Thurles in the following morning, on a Tuesday morning. So I'd sell half the load on the way down. I sold the other half in Thurles. And half of what I sold in Thurles was sold into Johnson's, because that was the shop in Thurles at the time. There was no Dunn stores, there was no Tesco, no.
And was it the family's name at the time? They were Johnsons, was it? Where did the name
Johnsons come from? Out there for, I reckon, since about 1825.
Whoa, that's like, so that's been in that same location, was
On the same spot, yeah.
Whoa.
There was a bakery at the back of it. I was the first Catholic to ever own it.
Wow.
Yeah. There was a sign on side. The older people told me, Protestants needed not apply. No Protestants need to apply. Although I had no gripe against Protestants. I employed plenty of them, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, my first week, I got a feel of what to do in the fruit business. And I wasn't familiar with the shops. So I was calling into shops that I shouldn't be calling into. And I was getting a bit of business in the mall. So the lorry was nearly empty before I got to Thurles. I was good. I blowing my coal. I reckon there was only one fella better than me. And he was a fella called Matty Dunn. He worked for Coca-Cola. Yeah. He came in here in the 50s, and Dewan's had 90% of the business. And I think Matty took half of it off them in about 3 months. He was brilliant. I thought I was as good as him, but I'm not so sure.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
We often discussed it between the two of us. He died.
He was hilarious, wasn't he? He was
great. He was a pantomime, lovely man. I even keep a photograph at home. Please. Yeah. Anyway, after my first week, I decided I'll have to load up a bit heavier in the future. So the second load, I loaded up to the door as fast as all you could put in. And I came home and I sold the whole lot again. Thurles was my mainstay. It was the best town I was doing. I had 52 calls, and I'd done 52 calls in a day. I could start at 8 in the morning, I'd be finished at maybe 6 or 7 in the evening. And I was popular enough. I was popular. I often told the odd one to where to get off as well. I can remember the ones that I did. Anyway, he came back from his honeymoon and he looked at the books. I was good at the books. Maths, I was very strong on maths. That was the only thing I was strong on. Challenge anybody on maths. But I had everything in order for him. So he couldn't get over it. He said, "Would you stay?" And I said, "No, I'm not going to. I think I'm going to be a guard. I'm going to try to be a guard." He said, "The money would be good." At the time now, my parents were earning, I think they were earning something like £12 a month between them. That was in the 1956. About 1956. So my first pay packet, he gave me 40 quid, a tenner a week for a month. And I was happy with it, all right. But I was only with him a very short time. I'm jumping the gun a bit now. I stayed on with them for a tenner a week, which was huge money at the time. But like bank managers were only earning £1,000 a year, which was £20 a week. So I was earning half what a bank manager was, and I was only a young lad.
Wow.
So he got to like me, but he tied me up. He made sure I couldn't go. He couldn't leave. I couldn't leave him. So he said one day to me, I think I'd like you to stay on. And I said, no, I'm not staying. I'll stay another while and I'll see what's happening, you know. So I was always a gambler. I always played pitch and toss, you know, at the school by corner. My dad used to go lunatics. He'd come down and hunt us home. Corner boys, you called us, you know. Paddy was a good pitcher. He'd have the penny on top of the bob every time he'd throw it, and I used to toss them. And I had 2 black pennies. They were English pennies. They were black at the time. And I stuck one into the other, and I had a 2-headed penny, which you weren't supposed to have.
So you kind of you sorted out the odds like that way.
Yeah, well, you compared on heads, and you kept trusting them in the heads. So if you had one heads on 2 sides, you were bound to win. Eventually, they're going to come up heads. I don't know. I wasn't a nice guy. Yeah, I took on a guy one day. He kicked one of my pennies. I was about 12 at the time. And I said to him, when I grow up, I said, I'll beat the shit out of you someday. And he was an obnoxious bastard. About 5 years later, I was coming home from the town. I was on the bicycle on a Sunday after being at Mass. And here he was. So this is my chance now to get level with this fella. So he was tossing. So I kicked his penny.
Brilliant.
And I said, no, at this stage, I'd say I was 16 or 17, you know. And he was about 25. I said, now you're as good now as you were 5 years ago. And there was a fella called Sacky Doolan. He got out a penny and he drew a mark on the ground. And he put us into the ring. And I bet the shit out of him. One of the few rows I ever
That's
had.
Brilliant.
But he was an
He
obnoxious.
learned something.
Sorry, go on.
I go back to the. I'm hogging it a bit now, but I'm a bit like. You heard the story about the lady, and she went to the priest, and she said, I had sex. Look, as the priest said to her, you're telling me that every day I come in here. But she says, I like talking about it.
That's very good.
Anyway, I'm the same. I like talking about it. It's seldom I get a chance to express myself like this. So
I was just going to ask just on what you were saying though, like when you like you're 2 years off 90, like, but when you come in, I don't know if it was caught on camera, but you were actually challenging me to a fight, like you were calling me out, like like back, it didn't seem like there was any difference between you were 12 and now, like you were still looking for a bit of a scrap there when you came in. Like, what is it that like what do you think that is, the sort of, I don't know, like
keeping young,
the force keeping
like
onto that force, like whatever it is.
Yeah, I would you believe it? I stem it from a very my aggression.
Yeah,
I derive it from a place, and I know, but I don't ever talk about it.
Okay.
My mother she was the junior assistant in the school, and the senior man was. There were 2 of them. The man that should have that job teaching there, he was called up to join the army. There was conscription at the time, and they held a place in the school for him when the war was over. So we were saturated with those young teachers that came up from Kerry. They're all Gaelic speakers and that. And I wasn't very bright at school. I was good at maths, and that was it. I was exceptional at maths, I think. My mother was at one end of the school. There was no partition between them, and the senior teacher was at the other end. And I got more beaten than the whole class put together, because I was always doing something maybe a little bit wrong. I might be out in the yard and I kicked the ball through the window by accident, you know. Or one funny one I always remember was I could sing, and I was acting the mick one day, and I was put, we were doing this do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And I said, you know. The man gets down, and he puts me up behind the blackboard. And I'm facing the rest of the pupils, but his back is to me. So I'm making faces behind the blackboard. So he went for me. So if he did, I caught the blackboard and I hopped it off his head. I spread him on. This fella now was a Kerry, a young fella, about 22 or 23.
Yeah.
He used to beat the shit.
What age were you saying then?
I was about 12.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Fair play.
yeah. But anyway, he used to beat the shit out of me.
Yeah.
6 slaps in each hand with a fucking big cane. He'd wrap you. And
Wow.
I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't spice him to cry.
Yeah.
The rest of me was crying, but I wouldn't cry.
Yeah.
I used to grab when they hit me with the cane, I used to grab the cane in the hand and hold on to it. But he hated me. I know he hated me.
Yeah, yeah.
The two of them, there was 2 of those Kerry fellas, and they didn't like me.
Yeah.
Then I was a little bit better than them out in the schoolyard.
Yeah.
I was good at the football, and I wouldn't be described as a bully. I never believed in bullying. I think bullies are cowards.
Exactly.
I've met bullies in my life on the football field. I've never met one of them that was tough yet.
Yeah.
I always acted a mick once in my life, and I never said I'd do it again. I was playing against Laois in I think it must have been a league match or something, and I was playing with this fella. He turned out to be a good footballer. I even remember his name. Fintan Walsh was his name. And I think I scored 2 or 3 points in the first 10 minutes, and I was flying, and I hit him an elbow into the fucking mouth. And if I did, just an only kick, I got the ball for the end of that match. He walked at me, he kicked me out the way. He was a quiet fella. I rose him. He wasn't a bully. He wasn't letting me go with that. He gave me more than I ever got in my life.
Wow.
He taught me a lesson. Never act a bully.
Yes.
Especially the quiet ones as well. Like.
Quiet ones.
Yeah,
Rise
yeah.
quiet when you're in trouble.
Yeah.
A bully
yeah.
is a coward.
Yeah.
I'd love to give names of fellas that had hard names.
Yeah.
Fellas you know well, they're cowards, most of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you said something to me before, that 3 things. You said you should be aware, be fair.
Awareness.
Aware, be fair, and be afraid of nothing. They were the 3 things.
When you see me coming, just step aside. A lot of men didn't, and a lot of men died.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look them in the eye
Yeah, yeah.
and say, right.
Yeah,
I remember we had a famous footballer called Jerry O'Malley.
yeah.
He was one of Ireland's, the best ever footballer that didn't win in All Ireland.
Yeah, yeah.
And he'd never say a nasty thing to anybody.
Yeah.
And you could hit him and kick him, and he'd just look you in the eye and put his hands down by his side.
Yeah.
You know, I learned a lot from
Be
him.
afraid of nothing.
Mm.
He ain't afraid of nothing.
Yeah.
And not to react as well. It's
I actually wasn't. I don't think I was afraid of anything.
No.
yeah.
I was afraid of a bull one time to follow him in the field, and I ran about a
Good
mile.
reason, yeah.
and barely made the gate to get over the gate.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the only time I was ever frightened.
Yeah.
Did that help you to start the business? Did that help you to start the business? Like not being afraid and setting something up on your own?
I see no fear. I could never envisage failure.
Yeah.
I thought that if you worked hard at anything and if you were fair, the main thing is to be fair. Don't do anybody a bad turn. No matter what they do to you, walk away from them. Just walk away. You get bigger satisfaction from walking away than you do going over and challenging them and
really
saying nasty things to them. Just walk away and smile
Yeah.
and look them in the face.
Yeah.
Don't look at the ground.
Yeah.
I can tell by the way people walk
Yeah.
what they're like. I'll give you their personality.
Yeah.
I know, I see them walking down the shop. I say, he's okay, he's not okay. I remember one day, I'll tell one little story.
Yeah.
I seen this fellow walking in the shop. And I said, he's robbing. He was supplying us with stuff.
Okay,
He was
right.
tea merchant. And I think my sons and them said, you're paranoid about people robbing. I said, okay, you hold on. I'll catch him. He done nothing that I seen, but I knew by the way he walked, the way he looked at me. A week afterwards, I set a trap for him. And I walked into it. He had to give us back something, a couple of £1,000. He'd been robbing us.
Wow.
That's amazing.
No, awareness.
Yeah, aware.
Covers.
Yeah,
Look around.
yeah.
Look around. And anybody you're talking to, give them your attention. Don't ever look away if somebody's talking to you.
Yeah.
It was done to me once in Clonmel. I went to one of those sorts of meetings, and I was talking to this fella. And I'd love to give his name, but he's still around. He was looking around at everybody else. He wasn't listening to me. Yeah. And eventually I said to him, hello, Mr. X. I knew his name. I said, I'm glad to have met you, but I'll tell you something. I don't ever want to meet you again.
Yeah.
He's still looking at me. He's still around.
That's good.
I like telling my stories. I had some bad times, but nothing. There was 4 C's, I can't remember them. A friend of mine used to say, things that happen that are not good, you can't change them, and you didn't cause them.
Yes, that's true.
You know, there's 2 more C's, I don't know if I'll forget them. So, I don't want to be hogging this.
Okay, just to change up a small bit. I think we'll finish up in a few minutes. But I'm just curious to ask, like, I suppose you're 2 years off 90, and you're talking about like a time up where you are, where you were still ploughing. You were ploughing with horses or that. Like, what's your like take on the world now, where it's at? Like, is it in a good place, or do you think there's potential for better change? Or I don't know. Yeah, what's your perspective? Just curious, because your age. What's your perspective of the world now?
I think the young people have a tough time now.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people are stressed, especially young kids, exams and all. That's very hard. There's good opportunities for people, but for the middle of the road guy, he's going to have a struggle.
Yeah.
What I see now is this: a trade is what most people have the lower standard. There's great money in the trade. It is frowned upon one time, but now electricians, plumbers, carpenters, they're more in demand now than ever they were. So there is plenty of. They have to lower their sights a little bit. You know, when I was young, everything was if you were a doctor or a parish priest or, you know, my mother wanted it all to be upmarket. You know, I feel a little bit that way myself. I must say, I have 2. Grandchildren now, they're going to be doctors. One of them a doctor and the other is qualified, and one a chartered accountant and one a teacher. I like them to be up there.
But the pay and everything, the pay and the conditions in those jobs is terrible now.
Haley's a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
Yeah, well, I've 2. I've a grandson, a doctor, and I have a granddaughter. She's a year to do. The pay, but eventually it'll be good.
No, it's not.
And the hours are terrible. I wouldn't be a doctor if you gave me. If you want, do you want me to tell you a little bit about the doctor bit?
Yeah, right.
Go on.
Up to 80 years, I was never sick a day in my life. I got sunburned once, lying by the seaside, and I got burnt alive. It was blisters, and I didn't. I couldn't go to work. That was the only day I ever missed. 25 years, and the flu came.
That's amazing.
See, I have purposely omitted somebody. And that's my wife.
I know.
Like, there'll never be another her.
Yeah.
Never.
I know. She was
I'm gone. I'll be okay in a second.
Yeah.
You're okay.
She was the greatest ever.
She was a fantastic person, wasn't she?
Yeah. She made me.
Yeah.
I was 45 when I started business. I was very old. And she stood behind me in everything I'd done, and I'd done the most damnedest things. You know,
she had a great personality and everything.
She had everything. She had everything. She was good looking. She was a character.
Yeah.
What age were you when you got married?
29.
Wow.
She was 28.
Wow.
Married for 53 years.
She was creative.
We never
did you make it work.
Never had one real row. We never went to bed, not once.
Yeah.
Not talking.
That's
and
amazing.
I was the one that always made it up. She'd go quiet. And I had one way of solving it. I'd say to her, when are you going to start talking to me again? And she'd laugh. And that was the end of it. We never, in 53 years, I never said no to her once. Anything she ever wanted, I gave it to her. Because she was entitled to it.
That's amazing.
Now, she mightn't have been as robust. In a way, she was a lady, where I was the opposite. We were direct opposite.
Yeah, you were a perfect complement to each other.
How did you meet her, Frank?
I was walking down the street there, a few yards away, 100 yards. I'm telling everything.
It's good.
I seen this thing walking down the street. I was up in the back of the lorry, getting out the fruit for the Glenmorgan. Jesus, I seen this thing walking down. I said, where the Christ did she come out of? She was after coming back from Spain on holidays, herself and another girl. And Jesus, she looked stunning with this lovely tan. Oh, it's a bit stuck up if you like, high heels, etc., etc. I said, I let her whistle at her. She stuck red at the cheek in my face, she said, and she continued on. So So I said to him, "My Jesus, you're not getting away with that now. I'll be back." So about a month afterwards, there was a dance at the confraternity hall.
Yeah.
And I went there, and wasn't she there?
No way, that's cool.
And it was impossible. At that time, the girls stood on one side and the men stood on the other side of the hall. And you couldn't get a dance with her. Jesus, there were like flies around there, you know what.
Yeah.
So eventually I said to a fellow who was with me, we said, tell them to keep me the next dance. So he went over. Liam something was his name. He says, keep the next dance for that fellow over there. So she kept it.
Oh, very good.
So I went over and I danced with her. And she looked well, all right. She was nice and cuddly. She wasn't the stand me off one. She was okay, you know. So I was talking away to her. I couldn't get a word out of her. Jesus Christ, I said, this one must be a dummy. And just when the dance was finished, she said to me, I've laryngitis.
Oh.
She had laryngitis.
Oh, no way.
And she couldn't talk.
Oh, Marion, no.
So I left her back where she was.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was the end of that story.
Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe a couple of weeks afterwards, I was friendly with this girl called Regina Roach over the town there.
Yeah.
And I said, you know that Kalaki one?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having a night with her.
Yeah.
Could you do it for me?
Yeah.
And she said, sure, I'll ask her anyway.
Yeah.
So she only lived on the road here.
Yeah.
So she asked her, oh yeah, I painted, I was clever enough. I painted a good picture. wasn't bringing her to an ordinary hop.
Yeah.
There was a friend of mine, a vet here in town.
Yeah.
He was working with Tommy Hickey,
Yeah.
a fellow called Tom O'Brien.
Yeah.
And he had a girlfriend in Athlone. He used to go down every Thursday to see her. Yeah. So I said to him, to Regina, ask her would she like to go to a dance in Athlone next Thursday night. So maybe it was a bit attractive to her, you know. Nobody would see her with me anyway, so she wouldn't be ashamed of me. Lorry driver, you know. So anyway, we went to Athlone, pulled up in Athlone, outside the dance hall. I absconded. I went out to meet my mother and father who lived out the road. A couple of miles. I went out to say hello to them. And I left her with two complete strangers.
Oh, my God.
So when I came back, she wasn't in very good mood now in the hall there on her own, sitting there for an hour on her own. I don't know if anybody danced with her or not. But anyway, we got on okay. I softened her up before the night was out. I the usual. Went out with Tom left his girlfriend home. I went out in the car out by the Shannon and had the usual. How's your father? A little bit of fun. Harmless old fun now, you know. Picking the cheek. Came home. I made a date. And I'm born in Rotterdam.
This is one of the coolest stories I've heard, honestly.
It's great.
It's brilliant.
It's a lovely story.
Made a date with her for the following Thursday night.
Yeah.
And now I didn't have any mode of travel. I couldn't put her in the lorry. She was a bit grand to be in the lorry.
Yeah.
Very much beneath her altogether.
Yeah.
So I think I called into the house and we had the tea and coffee and whatever you have.
Cool.
And she was a great cook. Best cook in Ireland. All her parents, all belonged to her, good cooks. She was blessed. So the story goes that whether it's true or not, she met her sister the following day and she said, I'm going to marry that fella. Now, she was doing a strong line with a fella for 6 or 7 years. And I was there one night and he called at the door, knocked at the door. And I didn't know who it was. But she came back in and she was flustered, all right. But it transpired to your man that she had been going out. She said, the game is up. I'm gone.
Yeah.
So she never seen him again. Well, she might have seen him. But
She gave him his marching papers. She gave him his marching papers.
It'd be 45.
Poor old David, right?
So that continued on for about 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years we went out together.
Oh, I love it. That's class.
As I said, we never had a serious row.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's actually one of the nicest stories I've heard. It's one really nice story. It's one of the nicest ones I've heard.
53 years. I never shouted at that woman once.
Yeah.
Never rose my voice once. Never rose my hand.
That's amazing.
I refused her one thing once, and she even won. I'm going on and going on.
This is good. This is perfect.
We were down in Rossdare, and she fancied this mobile home. It was for sale. And it was 70 grand, which was a lot of money at the time for a mobile home. So it was in a lovely spot beside Kelly's Hotel.
Lovely.
And I said, okay, sure, look at it if you want it.
Yeah.
So I met your man and bought it off him and gave him 70,000, which was about 20,000 too much. But it was a lovely mobile home and a lovely position. Everything was grand. So after I bought it, there was a microwave in the wall, and he said, you're not having the microwave. Oh, so like, well, do you know, no, if I'm not having the microwave, I'm not having the mobile home. So you stick the mobile home where the monkey stuck the nuts. And I walked out and across into Kelly's hotel.
Yeah.
And there was tears coming. She was beginning to sob. For the first time I ever seen tears nearly come from her eyes. And she said to me, the only thing I ever wanted, and you wouldn't buy it from me. So I weakened under pressure. She went to the toilet. I finished my cup of coffee. And while she was gone to the toilet, I rang your man and I said, I'd take it. That was the only time I ever said no. And I backed down 20 minutes later. Yeah. So
it's cool.
Mobile home.
You don't seem like someone who'd back down over nothing, so that's true love. You're willing to back down for her, like, so. You throughout your life, it didn't seem like you'd back down for anything else, like, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't back down easily. If I was wrong, I'd back down.
Yeah.
Then I thought I was never wrong.
Yeah.
Now and again I was wrong, you know.
Yeah.
If I was wrong, I'd admit it.
Yeah.
You were nice. I have a memory actually of being about 8 or 9, and I was thinking about your pigs and stuff. I decided I was going to grow cabbages. So I sowed 300 heads of cabbage, you know, and I was going to sell them to Walter next door to you, know. But Walter told me no, forget it. Yeah. So I said I'll go into McKevitt, they'll buy them, you know.
I wish I did.
You did?
No way.
Yeah, you did.
I supported.
No way.
You did.
How much did you get for them?
10 pence a piece. So
for 200?
Yeah, no, so like 10 pence a head, right, is what you get, and you buy them for a penny, and you sell them to the shop for 10 pence. So I had 300 heads of cabbage into Frankwood. So he took the 300 heads. Well, what I failed to do is a couple of things I learned from that. I didn't say they were organic or anything like that. I could have marketed them a bit better.
Organic wasn't known.
No, it wasn't. But anyway, they were infested with caterpillars, right?
Yeah.
So
holes in the cabbage.
Holes in them, yeah, holes in them. So literally, I arrived in with 300 heads of cabbage. Dan Burke was working there at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And it was about 8 or 9 or something. Anyway, I destroyed the whole shop with caterpillars. But anyway, you were true to your word. You gave me the 30 quid.
No, I dumped stuff that people brought in rather than throwing them away.
Yeah.
I don't like ever to deflate anybody. If you deflate them, you decide.
So
I'm curious about deflating anybody. I learned a lesson from a famous Kerry footballer. He played in New York in the Polo Grounds in 1947.
Yeah.
But when I lived in Dublin, I lived the first 14 years of my married life in Dublin. And my kids went to the local school there, and they had a very good team. And one of my sons was on it, the second fellow, Dave. Dave was quite a good footballer.
Brilliant,
He was centre back on the 14s. And it was played in Croke Park, the final. But Pat Garvey was this guy's name, and he said to me, Frank, never take off a young fella. No matter how bad he's playing, he says, lose the lads. Don't ever take off a young fella.
That's amazing.
He says, you'll break his morale forever.
That's amazing.
I never took off a young fella.
Wow.
I did lose the head one day. We were getting beat in a county final. And the fella was told to lie down. He wouldn't lie down. And I had to go up to him and I told him, go down, I'm going to fucking split him. We were getting bet. And he lay down. He never spoke to him that day to this.
Wow.
And that's 70 years ago.
Wow.
No, sport, religion. The GAA was big in my life.
Yeah.
I learned from it. You know, I was disciplined. You know, I had a tough time with it. I went to the secondary school and I played on a brother who was an inter-county footballer. I played for a year and then get a kick at the ball. He played on me every day because he hated me and he was better than me.
Yeah.
And I told him I'd grow up and I'd get him. And I did.
Did you get him?
I was 22 and we were playing a match in Sligo.
Yeah.
He was playing for Sligo and I was playing for Roscommon.
Yeah.
And he was going for a ball at the sideline. I said, this is my chance. I broke his shoulder.
No, you got
My mother made me sit down that night and write a letter to him, apologising.
Did you write?
And Brother Francis McGovern, I became very friendly with him in later years.
Yeah.
He went out foreign and he was out with
How's his shoulder?
the missions.
How's his shoulder since?
I don't know. I broke a good few shoulders in my time. I broke one of our own fella's shoulders another day. Yeah, he wasn't getting out of my way. And I went through him. Louis Feely, he's still alive, he's 90.
Oh, fair play.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
The
what
greatest
happened.
honour that was paid to me was paid about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
No.
I met this fella, he's a cousin of mine, Don Feely. He was a good footballer, played for Roscommon. Better footballer than I was. More classy. Wouldn't have to say him, maybe the other thing.
Yeah.
But she said to me, I was at a funeral, he says, Frank, I want to say there's something. he said, we won 4 county finals. He said, we wouldn't have won one of them without you.
That's nice.
You know, and
that's really good.
That tickled me for him to say
That's
that.
brilliant. You know? You're a good man to motivate people and to drive people on and to give them encouragement, you know. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I never once deflated anybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that, like, the fact that you accepted, I wonder, like, what positive effect that had in your life.
I have a
from where you're
photograph.
at.
I meant to dig it out. I was so excited with this 30 quid or whatever it was you gave me.
Yeah.
I think you gave me 40 quid, I think, actually. I had 2 20-pound notes.
Yeah.
And I got a photograph at home holding up the 2
No way.
20-pound notes.
If you
yeah.
find
That's
it,
good.
if you
Yeah.
find it,
If
might
I find
be
it,
on
we'll
the
stick it up.
it'll be on the screen.
I did come across it recently enough, so I was so happy that I'd grown these cabbages. You'd bought them off me.
Well, I love. I tell you, a woman came in to me during the week.
Yeah.
Someone from up Knocktegalla.
Yeah.
I'd love to see her name.
Yeah.
Lovely woman.
Yeah.
She's a Mrs. Leeson.
Yeah.
And she had 4 sons.
Yeah.
I employed them all.
Yes.
I told you that already, I think.
Yes.
Didn't I?
Yeah.
And they were very good.
Yeah.
Another thing, I have a very good success rate with the people that left me. They all got good jobs.
We do.
That's
They're
cool.
doctors, solicitors. None of them,
Yeah.
very few of them.
Yeah. They all do well.
They all done well.
Yeah.
I instilled something in them. I was there was even one there, and I mentioned her name. She was Stokes. She's an accountant now, and I met her maybe 20 years later. And she said, "Frank, I never forgot what you told me about awareness."
You have to be aware.
She said, "I've never forgot that."
That's so true.
She's a girl that's maybe 60 now.
That's amazing.
I love when people praise me.
Yeah.
I'm gullible.
Yeah. That's
class.
amazing.
I'd like to think I was popular.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. I think you are. I can see why.
I had bad incidents. You know, I remember a fellow one day, I was backing out down the square. I backed out in front of him.
Yeah.
And he was a bit, I know who he was a bit of a mouth.
Yeah.
He said, "Do you think you own the place, you know?" And I said, "Oh, no, but I intend to."
That's class.
My grandchild, Aaron, said to me one day, "You know, Frank," he says, "you exaggerate a lot." You know? And I said, "You know, I think you're right. But I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to hear somebody moaning and groaning?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want it bigger and better than everybody else."
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Marion used to say it to me, my poor wife.
Yeah.
She said, "Frank, would you ever stop, even if there was a hair out in our field? Our hair was bigger than anybody else's hair."
That's class.
She said, would you ever shut up?" She said. She was some woman. You knew her.
I did. She was fabulous. Yeah. She was glamorous. She was
great.
amazing.
She had everything.
She had great personality, everything. Yeah.
She was very competitive.
Was she?
We played golf together. I couldn't beat her. I would been trying to be a bit hooky. Under a bush, I might give it a bit of the leather, you know, push it out. She'd had me down, 2 shots taken off me straight away.
Brilliant.
I had a great day with her in golf course in Portugal. Two of us were playing golf. I rarely beat her. I think I bet her about 6 months before she died. Herself and my brother. I played the 2 of them. I bet the 2 of them, which wasn't normal for me down in Kilkenny. I used to have a lot of good day at the golf. Like I won the golf classic one day. The big one, the Hart Foundation. But I was going to tell you about the day she got a hole in one.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No way.
Playing, and it was about 100 yards. She was very short, but straight down the middle. And she goes to this club, and it was a driver. And she hit the driver like you wouldn't use the driver. 9 iron or a wedge. Anyway, she hit the driver, and we're up looking for the ball. I knew it landed on the green, but there was no sign of it. We were walking away, and there were guys on the next green that said, "Would you ever have a look in the hole?" So I went over and there was her ball in the hole.
Whoa.
So it's still hanging on the wall. She went in and got a certificate for
Wow.
her
Hole in one. That's amazing.
That's proudest.
A
She
driver.
had a
Like,
few jars.
no.
You know, she could get pissed now and again. Very seldom, but now and again.
Yeah.
I won a big race at the Curragh one time with a horse called Johnson's Baby. And the brandy crowd, what do you call the brandy crowd?
Oh, Hennessy.
Hennessy.
Cognac.
Hennessy's Cognac.
Yeah.
They sponsored the race, so there was free brandy for everybody.
Wow.
I brought all my friends in. And I'm afraid she went a little bit overboard. She got pissed out of her mind. But the horse won, of course, and I had a good few quid in him.
Brilliant.
And coming home, I think we had to stop every mile and a half. That's why she only got drunk about 3 times in her life. Another day we were I won't go on about it. Anyway, she didn't have a drinking problem. She'd take a glass of wine when she come in at night after the bridge. You know? And she turned down the light. I did the high lights on, reading the paper.
Cool.
And she turned down the lights and have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Good woman.
So now you want to get to the main thing I came here was to tell about Johnson's. And now I'm after spoken for the last half an hour. So I'll give you a quick rundown of Johnson's.
Quick,
Right.
Johnson's, so for the people that aren't from Thurles that are watching, Johnson's is a shop that's been in the square since, what did you say,
1979.
or 1979?
Frank has had it,
Oh, yeah. And okay.
Yeah,
okay. Well, and,
it's right in the centre of the town. Yeah.
It's a lovely
Main
shop.
street.
Yeah. To be the shop. Shop for a century before that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And it was never for sale or anything.
Yeah.
But I had a bad...
Sorry, Frank, could you just come in a little bit more to the mic?
I had a bad run-in with Quinsworth, who they were at the time. They were the biggest multinational company in the country.
Yes.
And they'd been buying the fruit off me for a few years. And I might as well tell you, I had a great setup with them. Whatever I sold them, they had to get 25% profit on it. So if I sold them £10,000 worth, they had to get 12,500. So I always made sure that they got the 12,500. So I had it for a few years, and I was making big money. I could make it. Should I say it? I might be getting 1,000 a week for myself.
Lovely.
But they were getting 2.5.
Grand.
And I was doing all the work. I'd send in young lads to service the shelves for them. I looked after them really well. Never done any dishonest with them. I was above board. I might tell them what I was making. But they done a good job.
Yeah.
So I was doing that for 2 years, and they were my main business then at that stage. I was doing fairly, they were nearly 50% of my business. And I was well in with the manager there. He took a fancy that I'd done a good job. So I had it for about 2 years, and I was doing very well. Everything was going well. I was living in Dublin, and I was happy as Larry. So one day, they decided they weren't buying any more of me, or of any other wholesaler. So there was about 80 of them, I think, all over Ireland.
Yeah.
Donegal to Tralee. And they withdrew the business from everybody, and they gave it all to one guy, a fella called Dublin. They were big.
Okay.
But robbers, let's say, up to a certain extent, I was more than competitive with them, but that didn't make any difference. So they owed me a month and a half credit, and they called us up, and they paid up. They gave us a month's notice that they were pulling out. So they owed me 56,000, I think. So they paid the 56,000. You get them 6 weeks credit. So they were all called in, and they all were. Everybody was dumbfounded. You know, they were literally put on the street. So I lost the cool. I stood up. I hadn't it planned, but this fella called Maroney, he might take an action against me for telling this, but I'll tell it anyway. He had a wig, and he stood up and he made the announcement that from such a date we were out. So I stood up and I said, "You wiggy fucker." I lost the cool. He had this wig on him, and he was full of it. And there was another fella called Chubai, I was there, Cutner. He was the other big shot. So I said, "Well, now you think you're great." I said, "Now you're selling about £15,000 worth of fruit a week in Thurles, but I can tell you, write it down, you'll never sell it again." And Sonny, would you leave the place? So I was ushered out of the place. So I went off with my tail between my legs. I had nothing in mind, but I had something somewhere. I knew there was something going to happen. I was going to explode. So I went to bed and I thought, I usually wake up in the middle of the night for make a plan. Marrying a bit of me, you turn off the light. I might get out a foolscap paper and write it down, what I'm going to do. Because I'm good at night, in the middle of the night, I can think very clear, no interruptions. So I said, right, there's only one way I can do them. I said, I'll buy Johnson's. Johnson's wasn't for sale, it wasn't a question of being for sale. So I said, everything has a price.
100%.
You know, if you give them enough,
no matter what,
they'll sell.
100%.
So I was friendly with a young fella, which you all probably know, Charlie McKevitt.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a minister for
Yeah.
Minister. He was an accountant in a firm. and I was in trouble with the taxman, and the boss of the company wasn't too impressed with what I'd been telling them. He said, "Go away from me and go down into the young fella down there and tell him your story." So the young fella down in the room in Amiens Street was the one and only Charlie McKevitt.
Brilliant.
So I told Charlie my stories. I owed them about 50 grand in tax, and there was no way out, so I had to pay it. But I had it. So I didn't believe in paying tax. It was all cash that time, you know, in the 50s.
I know,
I didn't have a checkbook. I don't think I had. Anyway, I told Charlie my story, and he sorted me out as best he could. Oh, yeah. What happened was there was 4,000 and I couldn't account for it. And I said, I won it in a jackpot. I actually didn't, but I knew a fella in town here was after winning 4,000 in a jackpot called Joey Kavanagh. Remember Joey?
Yeah, I do, the chipper,
Joey won 4,000. So I said I'd pose as Joey for a day.
Yeah.
And I said, that's where I got the 4,000. So he says, do you gamble? And I said, I do. And he said, how often do you go for strokes? Oh, I said, maybe 10 times a year, 5 times. It depends on what the dog I have. There's dogs then. So he said, when are you doing another one? I said, I'm doing one, in fact, 6 weeks from today. Because I was after giving the dog a trial that day, and he had to run within 6 weeks. So, would you ever mind telling me when you're doing the next stroke? I said, right now I'm under pressure with the taxman, and I want to be on Charlie's side. So he said, tell me. So I didn't tell him. But on about the 41st day, Marion got a phone call from this strange friend. There's some fella looking for you on the phone. And it was about Charlie looking up, ringing me up to see when was this coming off. And I said, it's tomorrow night, Harris Cross, Friday.
Wow. It was a stroke, was it?
I'm going down the stroke. I had this dog called Killoury Tiger. I'd stopped him 4 times, fell down on the track. The police were nearly out looking for the dog, and they didn't know it was me. There was a fellow from Fatima Mansions, which is the lowest of the low in Dublin. I put the dog in his name, and he used to ring in the dog. I gave him 50 quid for ringing the dog every time. So he didn't know what the dog was off or on. But I overdosed him one day, and he fell down in Harris Cross. I'm up at the stand, and I see your man, Jimmy Jacob was there. I see Jimmy running out the bottom of the stand. So I went down the back of the stand and got him in the throat and tried to go back in and get the dog. The dog fell down in the sack, lying down, and got sick. Because what happened was the guy that trained him had stopped him, and he left a message from me with a fella 100 yards with Pat Gleason. Tell Frank to look after the dog. So I stopped him as well. So he got doubly stopped.
Wow.
So anyway, not to bore you with all the details in between.
That's a good story.
That's brilliant.
The night came anyway that I was to have the money on. I brought all my friends from Thurles here. Stevie Smee, Liam Fain. I had 7 fellas up to back him. And I stood on the stand. The dog was 7-1. Nobody knew I had anything got to do with him.
Wow.
The dog opened 7-1. And I stood in the stand and I was sweating with excitement. And when I rubbed me for it, they were to go. So as soon as I rubbed me for it, the boys went anyway. And they clattered every bookmaker in the place.
Lovely.
And when they were finished, the dog was even money. He was 7-1. I started backing him. I think I had an even 300 quid was the last bet I had.
Lovely.
With Davy Meehan.
Lovely.
Sure, he was going by the winning post. The dogs were coming out the last bin. He won by, I don't know, 15, 20 lengths.
That's amazing.
So I used to collect the dog off this Chancy guy, this fellow from Fatima Mansions. And that night after he won the race, I went back out to collect the dog. And I said to Jimmy, I'm making you a present you can keep. Because I knew the authorities would be looking for him the following morning. Bornagan was out of his kennels the following morning.
Brilliant.
With the dog. The man walked out with his dog, was brave. The first time the dog was ever out there. So, do you know what he done? The guy, he sold a story to the News of the World.
Really?
And they gave him 500 quid. And the whole lot appears on the Sunday paper.
No way, so it's in the paper, that story?
It was in the paper.
That's funny.
Well, it said a prominent politician. Charlie was about to be a politician, a prominent, a budding politician, a leading trainer and a budding businessman. I was the businessman.
Class.
But we got 11,000 to one that night.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Very good.
And that
really
11,000 made me 50.
That's so
Because
good.
I was about to sell a house.
Yeah.
And I didn't sell it. But I had 11,000.
That's nice.
And the fella gave me the loan of 10,000
Yeah.
to add up. And I kept the house. And the house afterwards made 50,000.
That's amazing.
And I was selling it for 14,000 before that. Everything went well for me.
That's so cool.
I just finished now on the Quinsworth.
Yeah.
And I said to Charlie, I want you to buy a shop for me. And I knew nothing about a shop. Nothing. I never hadn't a clue. I still haven't a clue, to be honest with you. I hardly know a tin of I don't know a tin of beans from a tin of peas. That's just about. But I know guys who do.
Yeah.
You know. And the other thing was, I think I have a record. I'm 42 years there. I never opened the shop once. 42 years. And I never closed it once.
Whoa.
Did that tell you something?
That is mad. That's mad.
I never opened the shop once. Not even once.
It tells me something. It's your turn tonight.
Yeah.
I never did. Anyway, I want to finish.
Yeah. That's class.
I said, Charlie, I want you to buy a shop. I told him where it was. Told him how to go and buy it, and who to contact, but not to tell them it was me, because they would be a bit upmarket and they wouldn't like to think the van man was buying their business, you know. So only during the week, somebody said to me, there must be an awful lot of money. This for the manager in Dellin, he said to a person that worked there, when I bought Johnson's, I said, there must be a lot of money in rotten oranges, you know. But anyway, I sent Charlie to have a go with the fella. I rang him up, and he met him in the, you know, that hotel as you go into Cashel on the left there. It's up in the hill.
Oh, yeah.
Stores down.
Yeah, I know the one,
That's enormous one.
It was,
Anyway, he met them there, and he said that Charlie said he'd been to the shop, and then he knows they're selling. And his words were, we won't look a gift horse in the mouth. So I know we didn't have a chance when we heard that. So Charlie came back to me, and he said, I think we have a chance here. This guy, Mr. Wallace, a gentleman, pure, utter gentleman. He had a brother, he was a Protestant minister in Limerick, and he was a joint partner, so he had to consult him. So he didn't ask any price the first day, he just said that they considered it. So they came up with a price, there was 12,000 shares, and they wanted 15,000 a share. It was 180,000. Now, it was worth about 100,000. But I wanted it, I didn't care what I knew I was on the winner. So he tried to knock them down. There was no budge. I didn't pay 180,000. All right. The company had 30,000. I inherited that, and the shares in the cash and carry were 7,500, which he wanted to retain. I sold them back to him. So it cost me about 140,000.
Very good.
Roughly. Wow. So it was a lot of money at the time. You buy half the square for it. Wow. But there was only one Johnson's.
I know.
And the whole run that I done from Kildare down, there was no other shop like it anywhere. I never met anyone like it.
It's amazing. And it became famous for fruit and veg and stuff.
Well, I made it famous.
Exactly,
When you want to go, let's see. When I bought it, Johnson's was doing about 4,500 a week.
Yes.
And when I had it 3 weeks, I was doing 14,000.
Wow.
That was some rise in 3 weeks.
So you took that Quinsworth business, really? You took that Quinsworth business?
No, I took them by the throat. After I said to them, you never sell £15,000 worth again, I got them down to 1,500. Ended up taking 1,500. I took a lot of them. I piled it up outside the door. I lost money maybe for the first 3 weeks. I was buying it for half nothing. And I sold it for half that again. I just annihilated it. I had to go ahead. Center. I went the whole works into it. And, when I went to go buy it, funny enough, I should have been telling those things. It might kick back at me sometimes, but I had 100,000 and I wanted 40,000 and I couldn't get 40,000.
Wow.
The banks wouldn't give me 40,000, even though the bank manager told me before that, whatever you want, Frank, you can have it. And to this day, I've never got a letter from a bank manager saying, I want to see you. Never once.
Really,
I wanted 40,000. Eventually, we got it from a credit union or someplace down in Limerick. Gave me the 40,000. I'd have paid back in 3 weeks.
Wow. 3 weeks?
I had
Oh, you had or you had to?
No, you did.
No, no.
Oh, you did.
I'll get the month's credit. We're turning over 14,000 a week.
Yeah.
So that was 42,000 work.
Oh, wow.
And most of it was on credit.
Yeah, yeah.
So I could have paid off the loan in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Every bank I tried everybody in Dublin. Guinness Man, crowd that Charlie Howie was involved in. Tried them on, none of them gave it to me because I had no record as being for the business. And it was between Quinsworth and there was another supermarket, C&L, and it was in between the two of them. And what chance had I? I looked 1,000,000 to 1 chance to survive.
Yeah.
They thought I wouldn't survive. But I knew I'd survive.
Yeah.
So I had it about 6 months. And a lot went on between. I took the manager as well. I had a manager there. So I wasn't satisfied to take the business. I took the manager as well. He was on 30,000 a year down there. I gave him 50. And that wasn't exactly a success.
Yeah.
It worked for a very short time. We had a problem.
Yeah.
So he got it up and running.
Yeah.
He was good at his job.
Brilliant.
So at this stage, they had thrown in the towel. They given up. They tried everything to do me. You know, they tried to get suppliers from stop supplying me, and they done very nasty things to me. But I got around everything. I had to threaten some of them that supplied. They said they wouldn't supply me because they were putting the pressure on down the road. So I won most of the battles there. So after about 6 months, this fellow called Cutner, he was a Jew boy as well. He came up to me and he said, "Can I have a conversation with you?" I said, "Certainly." I didn't know what he was going to say. They used to come up and take prices in our place, send up guys, and they had scouts around town taking prices. Some of them I didn't appreciate them. They were still around town. They came in and took down all our prices. Anyway, this fellow come up. I had paid 140,000.
Yeah.
He offered me $1 million.
He offered you $1 million.
Get out. Yeah.
Oh.
$1 million. So I'm up in the moon. Put the $1 million in my pocket. Delighted with myself. So I ring Charlie McKevitt. "Oh no, Frank, hold on." He says, "Hold on a second. Don't run away with it."
What year was this? Sorry, just out of interest.
79, 1980.
Wow. And now, okay, right.
I hadn't had a year at the time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, about 1980.
Yeah, yeah.
So he offered me the $1 million. They were going to turn it into pennies or this, you know.
Yeah.
But they wanted me out of the way.
Yeah, yeah.
I was after taking, I was taking 50, 100, up 50, 60, 70, 80,000 a week after them, you know. So I went up to 140 at one stage. Anyway, I rang Charlie and I said, "Charlie, geez, I'm getting $1 million for this place. Your man, he's mad to buy it." And he said, "Hold on a second now." He says, "You've only that place a couple of months." He says, "I might have had it 6 months, I don't know." He said, "The capital gains were 40% at the time." He says, "Remember, you only get half that. You only get about 500,000 by the time the tax man looked after you." So I had to have a rethink. So I decided I'd hold it.
Wow.
And I couldn't understand why I refused this $1 million.
But so even after tax, you would have got $500,000, was it?
I would have got $500,000, yeah.
Yeah. And what? And
well, what was I going to do with the $500,000?
Yeah, that's true. I was going to ask, like, because that would have been after 6 months. That's like, yeah, turning 140,000 into $500,000. What was the motivation to saying yes, to say no to the $500,000 essentially?
Well, what motivated me?
Yeah,
no, well, I was making big money per week in it, and I had very little. I had very little loan at that stage.
Yeah,
practically nothing. I had great staff. I had the best staff in Ireland.
Yeah,
loyal, good. You know, they were all behind me.
That's brilliant.
Because even I knew nothing about the grocery business. I knew nothing about it. I still don't know anything about it. I know about fruit and veg, all right, but I know it makes it. I know it makes things click.
Yeah,
you know, I can see 6 months in advance.
You
know.
Yeah.
I don't look back. I just look forward.
You can see 50 years in advance at least, surely, Frank.
Well, somebody said to me recently, had I won the lotto in 1980 and got Johnson's, which would you take? I would have taken Johnson's rather than the lotto.
That's true.
Because my family, which are excellent, I have 4 kids, none of them ever gave me a bit of trouble in their life. Not once did they ever get in any trouble of any description. Never gave me any bother. Never fell out with any of them.
I notice you have a great relationship with your grandkids as well. That you
my grandkids idolise me, and I idolise them. I cry when they're playing football. Sarah scores goals, and I literally the tears run down my eyes. I have 3 kids playing for League of Ireland, even though I'm a GA man. They play League of Ireland. I have one playing for Limerick, one playing for
really good.
UCC, and I have one playing for UCD.
Yeah.
They're at mine something.
I met you coming out of Hayes one night. You were spending the evening with your grandkids or something. It was a good while ago. Hayes Hotel,
They came out last Saturday night. The whole lot of them came out. I have an old shed outside, and they whitewashed it.
Oh, lovely.
And there were 7 of them out there. Just the other 2 were away. They came out, and we sang the whole night. They had a few bottles of beer. They wouldn't have drank.
You're a good singer. I've heard you singing a few songs.
Is there a song going today?
Yeah, we'll give it a
that story comes I was married for 30 years, and my wife didn't know I could sing.
I heard you sing.
And we were out in out foreign someplace, and there was about 12 of us.
Yeah.
And this fella, Tom Murphy, was Murphy and Gunn, the garage in Dublin. He said, everybody's going to have to do something. Yeah. Sing. Yeah. He says, you have an option now. He says, you can sing, shout, or show your Mickey. So I decided I wasn't showing me Mickey, so I decided I'd sing. Yeah. So I sang this song.
Come on.
I can't sing it I can sing another.
It's perfect.
Will we end with a song, Frank? That would be lovely.
We can finish up with a song.
We'll finish it off with the song. Yeah,
well, I know I'll sing the song now while it's in my head.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I was an altar boy when I was young. I served mass, and I used to mix up when to ring the bell. Yeah. I didn't even know when you're supposed to hit the gong, you know. I'd be watching, get a sign from my mother in the audience now, you know. But I was altar boy for this uncle, famous uncle, to get married. And my mother said the altar boy always has to sing a song, and maybe a hymn or something, you know. And I said, I don't know any song. She said, I'll teach you a song, or learn you a song, whatever it is. The grammar isn't good. So she said, okay, I'll teach you, I wish I had someone to love me. So she sat that side of the table, and I sat that side. And she gave an hour, beat it into me. Oh, I wish I had someone to love me, someone to call me her own, someone to honor and cherish, someone to build me a home. Oh, 'tis once I did have a kind lover, honest and upright and true, but God has taken her from me. No more her fair face I shall view. We had grown up together from childhood. I carried her books home from school, and off she would kiss me and whisper, I forget the words, 'tis soon her old bride I would be. But alas, it is never intended, for be my poor darling had died. That's it.
That was beautiful.
I sang that song, and they asked me to sing a second one. Yeah. And I struggled to sing a few lines that an uncle of mine, I heard him sing it. And this was, I'll sing that one, and then I'll stop. If I were a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing, and I'd follow the ship that my true love sails in, and on the top rigging I there build her nest, and I cover her head in her snowy white breast. That's all I know more.
That's their lovely song. What was the name of that song?
Huh?
What was the name of that song? I feel like I've heard that one.
Did you hear it before?
I think so, yeah.
I know a few lines of every song there was ever.
Really?
Yeah. Even the other night I was the other morning I was listening to Mass, and the priest he made a comparison with Elvis Presley. Yeah. And he says, very true of life. He says, treat me good, treat me good the way I should. Treat me good for the way I should. For I'm not made of wood. I'm made of a wooden heart. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Treat me nice, treat me good, treat me like the way you should. I'm not made of wood. But I'm just made of a wooden heart.
That's it,
and that's what you're saying, that's Elvis song.
Elvis,
I'm not made of wood, but I do have a wooden heart.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Is that
wooden heart?
Okay, right. That's cool. I actually never heard that
one.
Class,
yeah,
he was cool, Elvis.
I'll finish now.
Yeah.
The reason why I came here
Yeah.
You don't know.
Okay.
You don't know.
No.
I was seriously ill 2 years ago. I was dying. I had a year and a half to live. The doctor came to me and he said, Frank, I have bad news for you. You could have an operation. But he said, I won't do it. And he says, you won't want me to do it. And I said, no. I'll take my medicine. He said, you'll get a year and a half. And you take prune juice, you go home. That's all I can give you. A bottle of prune juice. Take it every morning and see how long you last. That's 2 years ago now. I was in the Mater Hospital and I was in Vincent's. They both diagnosed me with Parkinson's. And I had diabetes for 20 years. I injected myself twice a day and I took 13 tablets a day. The Parkinson's really got me. I lost 4 stone. I went from 14 to 10 stone. I wasn't worried about dying, but I knew I was dying. I didn't say it to anybody. But this doctor from Nina, a young doctor, he was very nice. I know what his name is. He came and he sat on the side of the bed and he said, I have bad news for you. My family hardly know that still because they don't believe it.
Yeah.
But my hands were going like that.
Yeah. Completely different than you did a year and a half ago.
I lost 4 stone in 3 months.
Yeah.
You see, 2 people looked after me. 3 people looked after me. I was sitting at home one day. I don't know, should I go on the air with this? I don't mind because I think it does justice to some of the things that's happened.
Yeah, if you're comfortable with it, let's work away.
I ran into a bad patch. My wife died. 2 separations in the family, which upset me intensely. Business was collapsing all around the town, not alone me. Everybody was going. I was going to become in financial trouble. I was okay. I was able to pay my way, but I was losing hand over fist, losing a couple of grand a week. It all got to me, and I wasn't able to take it. You know, there was nothing I could do. That's when this guy, a fellow called Tom McCormick, said to me, he's a friend of mine, his wife's a friend of my wife's. He said, you didn't cause it and you can't change it.
I love that.
And the other 2 C's, I rang him before I came here to see what the other 2 C's were.
You didn't cause it, you can't change it.
I'll get them for you before I go. It's the last number I rang.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can get a bit emotional, which is, for a hard man, it's hard to believe. I can break down very simple.
Oh, so
I've broken down as matches.
We're all criers here, aren't we?
With Sarah.
Except for Haley, yeah.
She's our doctor, so she can't cry.
She doesn't cry.
Where are you, doctor?
I work in North Tipperary and Limerick, like Midwest. I locum in mental health.
Anyway, my health, I had everything. My bowel was completely gone. I wasn't even 10%. I won't embarrass you with the problems I had. I had a welt in my foot that I had to get cut every fortnight. I had to go to the chiropodist. I had a pain in my back. I had to go to Idale Coleman out the road. I went every fortnight for 2 years. I had all those things, and I was very lonely. Very lonely. Well, for my wife, I'd say in particular, you know, it just took the ground from under me. I wasn't used to being without her. I was very strong in prayer all during it. I never gave up.
Brilliant.
You know, I said there's something there going to happen. Yes. I'm sitting at home one day, only a year ago. This is all after happening the last year and a half. I'd say it was in March. And I'm sitting down at home and I said, I think Marion said, you have to go to a priest. I got up off the chair. I drove into Borden Ave and I drove around the church. And as I was passing by the sacristy, a priest walked out the door. And I said to him, I would love to talk to you for a few minutes. And he said, I can only stay a few minutes. I'm going on a sick call. And he sat in, tell me as much as you can. He said, as quick as you can. So I started, and I told him everything. Everything that I had to tell, what was worrying me, problems with this and that, everything was collapsing around me. Money was disappearing in thousands a week. He said, I'll anoint you. Or something else. I don't know what the something else was. He says, what did you go for? I said, I go for the anointing. So he anointed me. And he said, you'll be okay. Is anybody a tissue there?
No, I actually don't. Do you have it?
Yeah, so come out of one.
I have one. I have one.
One.
He anointed me and something else. I don't know what the something else was.
Yeah.
And
oil maybe or something.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm okay.
Oh, and when you get it, yeah, cool.
He only stayed about 10 minutes.
Below,
10
that one. 10
minutes. He said, I don't remember what he said to me. He said,
press to the left there.
I told him everything, the most intimate things,
Yeah.
I left nothing that I didn't tell him.
Yeah.
And some of it I've told you here. So he said, I think he said, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But she said, marrying this in me in. She said, go to a priest.
Isn't that mad?
So like you like it or not, but you're looking at America.
Yeah, I
know it's to see it, because Dad has Parkinson's as well, and you just look completely different.
Yeah, and in a way, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry for I'm not sorry for giving the interview, because I think if I save one person's life,
100%,
I'm doing a good turn.
Absolutely.
Like I am a total believer in God.
That's great.
Like God has proved it to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to ask for anything.
Yes.
I go to the church. I can't ask him for anything because I got everything.
That's
He asked me to pray. She asked me to pray for other people.
Yeah.
I'm already in heaven.
That's amazing.
She tells me that I'm there in heaven.
That's amazing.
I know more than a lot of people know.
I believe that.
I see her 5 times a day.
That's amazing.
This morning in bed, first thing, wake me up. She wakes me 20 past 8.
That's amazing.
Does everything for me. At my hometown, or where I came from, it's 100 miles down. I drive down to Athlone on my own to meet all my pals. I'm 90 years of age, almost 90 years of age. I go down and I met them all.
That's amazing.
And one of them was in serious trouble. An ex-old girlfriend of mine had a daughter in a bad way. I don't know, should I be telling that? She was highly depressed. And she asked me would I say a few words for her. I was in church out in the rag. I go to the rag every day, 365 days. I go to the graveyard 365 days. At Christmas, I was asked to say a few words for this person, young girl, 24, suffered from deep depression, teacher, and had no job, depressed at home.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks after I said the prayer, she got a ring from a school. She called them to get it. She was a French teacher.
Yeah.
She was a French teacher that needed. And she's back teaching and she's flying. I don't know, should I tell that,
Yeah.
There's nothing around it.
No, it's not.
I have experiences like that. And like in a similar way, pray and I find it quicker when I pray for things for myself and stuff. I find it quicker for the things to happen when it's praying for someone else and I write them down and stuff too. And I think, it can be a case of sometimes even within a few days, that person will ring me and be like, hey, everything's turned around. And I don't say it and I don't go like, that's because like that. I just say, well, that's amazing, really grateful. And I experience it a lot.
But I'm obviously talking to the right person. And you are a bit spiritual.
Yeah, the lads would be.
We all do. We all write stuff down,
And but I would be definitely. And so.
You see, it's rare now. You see, I talk to my wife every day. She's listening to me. Every word I'm saying here.
I know that. Yeah.
She'd say you played the blinder when you're home.
Yeah, you did.
That's
you
cool.
were class.
She'd say, I know. Today I got a second thoughts about coming in. I said to Orla, yes, my daughter will not go in at all. I know I'm going to go overboard if I go in. No. So I said, look, I'll go. And I said, of course, you're looking forward to going in. And I was.
That's cool.
Even though I lost $2,000, I'd say, 5 minutes before I came here.
Behind.
Oh, the two fucking horses getting me. But it still didn't defer. It didn't. It didn't quench me.
People appreciate hearing that because
Definitely.
like I'm like that, Haley's like that, Kieran's like that. We all believe that. And when you hear other people thinking that,
and even for people who don't and whatever, that's still like, you know, I think there's just value in everything that you're saying and sharing today on all levels. Like there's gonna be so many people, especially as you said, like you know, you're 2 years from 90, and you know, you were always ready to fight. The first you challenged me to a fight the first thing you came in, so it was cool to see, like, you know, someone who's
I never got into.
I know you're joking.
I never got into a physical fight.
I know you're messing.
If somebody put it up to me, I'd have a go.
But basically what you were saying is you reckon you can take Kieran.
Yeah,
I reckon you can too.
I think so too.
No, I can take anybody. I know.
I
took a fella. I was jumped on once and I took a fella. All right. I jumped on in 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And I clocked a fella. I left him there
Kieran,
for 10.
don't think of jumping him on the way out.
I definitely won't.
No, well, at 90 you don't be knocking fellas over. You know.
I'd say you would.
Yeah, I don't know. I can,
there's
but
times
I
when
can
he
see
needs
it
as well, Frank,
I can
to
see
be
it in
honest,
your. I can see the thing in your eyes. When I was younger, that was the thing. My eyes defended me. Look someone in the eyes, and same hurling, same story. Everything you were saying resonated. I mean, like, I was always small, but I had those eyes, like, and that was all you needed. Like,
No, I wasn't particularly tough when I was very young. You know, I think my aggression came from the two teachers. They bet the shit out of me weekly.
Yeah.
You know, and I took them on. I never gave in to them. But they ruined me. They done me a good favor. They made me aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, made me aggressive, and at the same time, I had no fear.
Brilliant.
I had no fear of nothing.
Yeah, brilliant.
Which is natural, you know. It's not really natural. Like to leave the big hell playing the football.
Yeah.
To be afraid. Like I wasn't a classy football. I was good, but I wasn't. I wasn't extraordinary. I played all grades for the county, you know. But I never trained or nothing. And I wasn't a sentimentalist either. don't have a fucking photograph.
Oh,
All those matches I got to send me on photographs there lately. One of the guys was on the minor, sent me on for the minor team. And I have a few photographs of
that's cool.
the county team. But I know people have photographs all over the place. I have one.
Yeah.
No. Paul is a very good footballer.
Yeah.
He won a county final with Lockmore.
Oh, wow.
He captained them.
That's
Paul
amazing.
is a great footballer. They were all good athletes.
Yeah. They're all brilliant.
Orla was a good golfer. Orla won the captain's prize. She won the president's prize.
Yeah.
They're all very athletic.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I think Sarah, I would rate her the best all-rounder in the country.
That's cool.
She went out to play golf with Orla a couple of times and they won a competition. She only played half a dozen times.
It's amazing.
She could do anything with the ball. She played soccer she played for Ireland 13 times. Scored goals from all sides. And she wouldn't let you. She's only small. She'd be your size now. She wouldn't be big, robust. But you hit her, she'd tell you who she is. I seen her flat them out in the right there last year. She flipped them out to someone's bullying her. And she hit her on the elbow.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Another one hit her a few weeks ago in the soccer.
Yeah.
Someone said something to her. Said, you're stuck up or something. And the next thing, your woman is on the ground.
Brilliant.
You have to be like that when you're small.
Yeah.
I suppose you have.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah is deadly.
Yeah.
But I love my grandchildren. It's unreal. I love them much more than my own kids. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
My mum's like that with my daughter.
Yeah.
Loves them much more than she ever loved me.
Yeah. Oh, you have a daughter, have you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Ah, sure. Look, at life is what you make it.
It
is.
Yeah.
You can. I suppose number one is the old religion.
Yeah.
If the man above is on your side.
Yeah.
But I have a little. Things worry me, you know. Some people get it so tough.
Yeah, they do.
And some people get so. I got it so good.
Yeah.
I got it so good in the last year. It's not real.
Brilliant.
Everything. Like the business has improved to no end.
Lovely.
It's going to be twice as good in 6 months' time.
Fabulous.
And I know it's good.
It is.
I put that in writing.
It's true.
The kids said to me, but I said to the boys, I've told them now what they'll do in the month of August.
That's amazing.
I wrote it in a bit of paper.
Did you write it down? Yeah.
I wrote
That's
it down.
interesting. Yeah.
I gave it to Dave. I said, Dave and Paul, they're my two sons. I idolise them because they're carrying on where I left off.
That's brilliant.
That's really
Don't
cool.
get the credit because it's very hard to be the son of a fella that was.
Of course.
It's very hard for them to
but
follow.
they're doing good.
But they managed to. I love like that. It is just the shop still has, although like times change and you might have to get in like the old milkshake machine to keep up and stuff like that. But like it still has that presence of like you still walk out the fruit and veg section and just feel
Best cheesecakes in Thurles inside. The best cheesecakes in Thurles.
Yeah, maybe. What do you actually do for a living?
Oh God, I don't know. That question, I don't know. I promise. Okay, how do I answer?
This.
What?
Huh?
This.
Yeah.
Sing.
This.
No. Yeah.
What we're doing.
Talk.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Community work. Crike, it's called.
A few different.
Yeah.
things.
Well, how would you rate me 1 to 10?
How would I rate you 1 to 10? 10, and that is my God honest answer. Well, what are we measuring as a whole? Like you as a whole?
Yeah, me as a whole.
10. That's a God honest answer. I'd be genuinely honest.
Pardon?
I'd be honest, and I would tell you if it was like.
Yeah, I think myself. You see, I'm a boaster, you know. I think I'm good.
Yeah,
you
good.
Know?
Yeah, you have
my grandson said to me, "Granddad, you're a fucking bore." He says, "You're great." He says, "You're great company." You know?
Yeah.
The swine to come out to me. They all come out last Saturday night. Down to the shed. That's 90 years of age, and I don't drink, but they were having a few drinks. And they bought the beer. And I sang songs for them.
Lovely.
Yeah, and when I left there, they followed me up to the house.
Lovely.
They didn't want me to go.
Lovely. That's class.
And I just idolised them.
That's class.
Frank, we better finish up now.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Frank. This has been
How did you get
brilliant.
done?
100%.
10. 11 out of 10.
Yeah.
11 out of 10.
I will continue at a later date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we would love that.
You've only got a tip of the iceberg.
That's it. We're going to have to have part 2.
Yeah, we love that.
That's a tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, cool. Sound. Thanks.
It's on the whole lot of tape.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
And when you sit out the whole lot of it.
Yeah. Well, unless there was anything you didn't want, like, yeah.
We will get you back
you're
for
perfect.
part 2, Frank.
I might have used a swear word once or twice.
Oh, you're okay.
Everybody does.
Yeah,
it's that kind of show.
It's a human. Yeah. It's a human.
One thing my wife always said, you know, I'll finish this. Like, I absolutely idolised her. And I always thought I was the boss.
Yeah.
But I realised when she died, I was the boy. She was the boss. But she had such a way of doing things. Then since she died, I was like, Jesus, she was the boss.
Yeah.
And she knew it for all of those years, Frank, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
She knew what she was doing.
She could wind me around her little finger, and nobody else could. I was a bull, you know, I wouldn't fucking.
That's class.
Now I know.
Now
she has me with the hasp.
Yeah.
And she's listening to this now. Every word of this. I'll hear that tonight. And she'll say, you left out this and you left out that.
Which we'll stick that in part 2.
Yeah. You have to write it down for part 2.
Thanks very much, Frank. That's been brilliant.
Yeah, thanks a million for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, lovely.
Now, what about the 2 boys over here? What do you think of it?
You'll affect more than one person.
Huh?
I'll tell you that. You'll affect way more than one person. I'll tell you that. No, it's great.
Well, that's the one thing I'll say. And that's why I came here. All the other is irrelevance. But if I turn one person about,
that's it.
I'm happy.
That's fantastic.
Because I have to prove.
Yes.
I can.
But you look at
them.
that's what I'm saying.
It's amazing.
There's not a
how
move.
you shook off Parkinson's? How that doesn't happen? How did you do that? You just a man.
And
wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
That's really cool.
like I took 13 tablets a day.
I remember you were shaking about that.
I take no tablet now.
Yeah.
I was skin and bone.
But you were, and you were shaking.
I gave away all my clothes because they were falling off me.
Yeah.
Now I have to give all the new ones because they won't fit me. I took out to Pat Stakem during the week and buy a few trousers. They're all, they won't fit me, nothing fit me anymore.
Yeah.
Class.
That's actually really good.
You know, I could go on and go on. I couldn't put my shirt if you give me £1,000
Yeah.
a year ago. I couldn't sign a check.
Yeah.
My handwriting, if there's one, is perfect.
Yeah, you showed me, yeah.
My handwriting is,
Yeah.
I couldn't sign a check. I just signed X.
Class.
That's why I couldn't even imagine that. Like, just because of the state
Well,
you are, like, you just, like, where you are now, I didn't even imagine you were like that. That's really
I don't think there's another one.
No. Will you ask Marion to sort out Dad? Will you?
yeah.
She has helped one person.
Good.
But she can't do it.
She can't do them all.
No.
Yeah.
There's one person that's she's working on
Oh, good.
at the moment.
Good.
But when people get beyond thing, there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
No. She'll tell you that.
Yeah.
She'll tell me. I've asked her for other things.
She can't.
I can't do anything.
Okay, yeah.
Because she's only a messenger.
I know what you mean, yeah.
She's a guardian angel.
Yeah.
Like she's a qualified guardian angel.
I love that, qualified. That's cool.
She knows what she can do.
Yeah.
And she knows
what she can't.
She'll tell you, I didn't do that. It's just the other man. I could tell you things.
I know what you mean.
Little things.
Yeah.
I went to light the fire last night. I had no firelighters.
Yeah.
And she said, there's a bit of firelighter in the thing. Small bit, about that much.
Yeah.
Stick that under and light it. I lit the little thing. The next thing I blaze on fire.
Wow.
I tell you one this morning.
Well,
I better go.
Yeah.
I have them every day. I went out this morning. There was 7 candles lit in a row, and there was none of them lit. They were all blank.
Yeah.
And I lit 6 of them, and I could not light the other one. No matter, I tried. I got the lighter under it. I got paper under it. I got from one candle to the other to try and light the 7th candle, and I couldn't light it. And you know what she said to me? Asked me to light it. And I said, Marion, would you ever light that candle? And I put the thing over the candle.
That's mad. That was just this morning, was that?
This morning.
Yeah, that's cool.
In the rag. The candle went out. She'd light and she died. Cringe. But I don't think it'll do it if there's anybody looking. I have a few other things.
Yeah, I know what you mean,
Yeah, I know what you mean. It is a very has that sort of sense of...
Like, she's very strong.
Yeah.
Some days. Like, her vision is very... Some days, I can see her faintly. But some days she can be really strong. I got different visions of her. There's one that she had after coming out of a dance. And she's really good looking, and she has a fur coat on her. And she knows I like looking at that one.
Yeah.
And now I'll finish. I have to kiss her at least 50 times a day. My photos are here, and they're there, and they're there. And I have to kiss them. Would you get up and give me a kiss? She says, it means nothing to you, but if you knew what it means to me, for me to give her a kiss.
Yeah, I know.
I've kissed her 20 times already today. And I don't let anybody see me doing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a bit embarrassed. This is a man's notes.
Yeah.
Maybe I am.
That's good.
That's actually really cool.
I'm sorry for delaying you.
You're not delaying us on. It was actually a really lovely
thanks a million for
episode.
coming on. Thank you.
Where are you from? Are you English? No.
Yeah.
What part?
I grew up in the Midlands, but I was years in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up close to Warwickshire.
What's the name of the town again?
Solihull.
Where?
Solihull.
Near Birmingham or something.
Yeah, it's between Stratford-on-Avon and Birmingham, kind of.
Oh, yeah, I know that area. I have a fellow change horses from me over there.
What's his name?
Preston, Eric Olsen.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lived in London for years.
Now, the last word I give you, I have a horse going tomorrow. At least my daughter has a horse going tomorrow.
Write this down.
His name is Wasdale Park. Wasdale Park. I think he'll win.
Yeah.
He's going in Downpatrick
Okay.
at about after 2 o'clock.
Okay.
I was going to go, but it's 4 hours drive. And
Have you got odds on him yet?
Huh?
Are there odds on him yet?
The odds.
What are the odds? Like, what's the...
he won't be big price because he was second. He could be 6 to 1.
Okay.
You know.
Should we bet the fundraising money on him?
Yeah.
I think he'll win now. Wasdale Park.
All right. We'll take that tip,
the kids were reared in Wasdale Park.
Okay.
My kids when they were young. And hence, Orla owns the horse. My daughter owns them. And she called them Wasdale Park. Because I called all the Johnsons, all the horses, Johnsons.
Johnson's Glory, Johnson's Baby, all that. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what that originated.
Yeah.
When we had Johnsons about a year, and I came home from the market, I came home with a horse. I went up to buy fruit and veg, and I came home with a horse.
Well.
And Marion said to me, where did you get the money? Now, the money was not plenty at the time. I had to mind that to most things, you know. She said, where did you get the money to buy a horse? And she said, that's Johnson's Baby. Johnson's, I used the company.
Money.
So I called the horse Johnson's Baby.
Yeah.
So he was unbeaten. He won all before.
Fabulous,
That's really cool.
Thanks very much.
Thanks a million for coming on.
I hope I'm not a bore.
No,
you're
fantastic.
good.
All I can tell you is that I enjoyed it.
That's good. I'm glad you did. We enjoyed it too. Yeah, thanks to the people for watching. Subscribe if you're watching YouTube, and make sure, also follow us on Spotify if you're just listening. And make sure you bet the house and the horse tomorrow. And
no, don't bet the house. Have an old fiver on.
An old fiver.